Today, I'll show you how to strategically optimize your wildcard usage using one of the world's most complex problems, the secretary problem. Your success doesn't just rely on luck, but on carefully calculated moves. The secretary problem is a classic probability problem used to make the best choice. For example, imagine a company is hiring a new secretary. Let's say 100 candidates have applied for this position. The employer interviews the candidates one by one and must decide on the spot whether to hire that candidate or move on to the next. However, there's one important rule. Once you reject a candidate, you cannot go back to them. The goal is to hire the best candidate. Mathematically, the best strategy in this problem is to evaluate the first 37% of the candidates and then hire the first one who is better than everyone in that group. In other words, the first 37% serves as a benchmark to determine the best choice. With this approach, your chances of finding the best candidate are around 37%, which is the highest probability you can achieve. When we relate this problem to FPL, we can apply a similar strategy to evaluate player performances each week, make the right transfers at the right time, and ultimately build the strongest team. In FPL, while it's possible to analyze data and make decisions for the future, just like in the secretary problem, there's no going back, and missed opportunities are lost. In a 38-week season, we can divide the league into two halves, each consisting of 19 weeks, similar to the secretary problem. In this scenario, during the first half of the season, it would make sense to spend the first 37% of the 19 weeks, which is about the first 7 weeks, evaluating and analyzing the players. In this process, you should try to understand which players are in form and who has fallen short of expectations. The optimal mathematical strategy is to use your wildcard immediately after this initial evaluation period, around game week 8. Throughout the first 7 weeks, carefully monitor your team. Analyze which players are in form, who has suffered injuries, or who has performed unexpectedly. If your team has had a poor start, avoid panicking and focus on maximizing points each week. Use your transfer opportunities wisely to achieve the highest possible points. Don't hesitate to make knee-jerk decisions if necessary. By game week 8, you will have enough data. Use this information to make significant changes to your team by activating your wild card. Just like in the secretary problem, assemble the best possible team and start strong. Even if you had a poor start to the season, this gives you a chance to recover and put your team on a better track. If things are going well after the wild card, try to save your transfers, but don't hesitate to make changes if needed. However, avoid knee-jerk reactions during this period. In the secretary problem, the goal is to find the optimal choice for hiring one secretary. However, in FPL, since you have 2 wildcards per season, we need to adjust the calculation slightly. We use the first wildcard in game week 8. For the second wildcard, if we apply the formula 8 plus 30 divided by E to the remaining game weeks, we get approximately 19. The following week is game week 20. In summary, the mathematically optimal approach is to use your wildcard right after the first match of the second half of the season. With this wildcard strategy, you can make significant changes to your team at critical moments. You may be using your wildcard at a more optimal time than many others, allowing you to save your transfers when necessary and use them effectively when needed. For example, you can be prepared for situations such as injuries, suspensions, or drops in performance. You can make more flexible and powerful moves during the critical points of the season. FPL is a marathon that requires patience, not a 100-meter sprint. However, those who fail to make precise surgical interventions when necessary will fall behind in this race. So be patient, but don't hesitate to make critical changes to your team when needed. Football is a game full of uncertainties and influenced by luck, but you can always increase your chances of success with mathematical optimizations. Strategic approaches like the secretary problem can make your decisions in FPL more informed. I hope this video is helpful and enjoyable for you. Good luck to everyone. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe.